majority of their points. They always have a chance when the ball's in number 10's hands offensively.
What a gamer, fighting through a number of injuries this season. As for the LSU quarterback situation, we go to the field. And Alyssa.
Taylor, at the beginning of the week, interim head coach Frank Wilson said expect to see both Garrett Nussmeier and Michael Van Buren. After Nuss suffered a setback in practice on Thursday with that abdominal injury, he has officially been downgraded to out, and it will be Michael Van Buren who gets the start here today. He's been backing up Garrett Nussmeier all season, and apprenticeship was the word that they used, learning this system, and now the transfer from Mississippi State, who had a career passing day against Arkansas a season ago, will get his first start in the purple and gold. As far as the message for MVB, be yourself. Don't try to be Garrett Nussmeier. This isn't a package for you today. This is your offense. This is a guy with a strong arm who loves the deep ball. Expect to see quite a bit of that today. And guys, Tiger fans, really excited to see MVP. When he was announced as the starter, huge roar from the fans here in Tiger Stadium.
Petrino on the left, Wilson making his debut in Tiger Stadium as the head coach on the right. What a gift that is for the man from New Orleans. LSU wins the toss, defers. Arkansas will get it first in the 71st meeting. LSU leads 45-23-2. 34th straight season they've met since Arkansas joined the SEC in 1992. Our man David Basil is just down the hall from us, the Arkansas linebacker that helped name this trophy the Golden Boot 30 years ago. Razorbacks will come out at the 25-yard line. It's going to be great to celebrate this rivalry throughout the game and show you some of those special moments through the years. 4 of the last 5 have been decided by a field goal. It feels like every time Taylon Green is on the field, his team is going through a heartbreaking loss. How can he get his team on the right side of those close games today?
They got to find a way to make sure that they protect this football. Don't give any possessions, at least easy possessions, to this LSU offense, especially in this game when they're trying to find their footing. A new starting quarterback on that other side. Be smart and make the Tigers work for it.
And we have news about the players around him, Stinch. We'll tell you about that after this play. Green on the first one, option toss to Washington, and Washington gets around the 30, out past the 32. Today's center is Caden Kittler. Started most of the season, but had to miss some time due to a concussion. And the right tackle is a Marion Harris, who's also back from concussion. So starting center and starting right tackle are back. However, Braylon Russell is out for today's game. So Mike Washington does not have Russell to spell him in the backfield. On second down, Green rolls against his body and throws back wide open. There's Jaden Platt for a first down, and Platt gets right up to midfield for 18 yards.
How about this play design? So you get the entire defense feeling like you're going to be rolling to your left against your throwing arm in Taylon Green. And the whole idea was to try to get Platt open to the opposite side of the formation. Excellent job there. The second play of the game, easy completion for an explosive play.
On 1st and 10, Green at midfield, dumps it off underneath. What a grab. And in space, Omega Blake gets down past the 35-yard line. That's a pickup of 16, make it 17 for the 5th-year senior transfer from Charlotte.
Well, Bobby Petrino said, we tried to get him going last time out. Mississippi State did an excellent job of taking Omega Blake out of that game largely. He had 2 catches versus Mississippi State. The bye week, they said coming into this game, we like some of the matchups we can get because LSU likes to play in what we call regular personnel, more linebackers than DBs.
Straight ahead, it's Washington, and he's free inside the 25, and he's right near another first down. Arkansas on a play-by-play basis, effective on this first drive.
You can see a great job inside out. Nice pull there at left guard to kick out. Creates a nice hole there on the right side. And right now, Arkansas getting everything that they want on this opening offensive possession.
Right where Weeks would have been on the field, too. Weeks, of course, out with a lower leg injury. First team All-SEC player. Has been out these past few games. On 2nd and short, that's a slant. It's incomplete. He's trying to get it in there to Raylan Sharp. Good coverage by Mansour Delane, and there's Weeks over there. Did practice some this week, Stinch. He does hope to play again before the end of the season.
Well, defensive coordinator Blake Baker said, look, it makes a big difference not having him out there. Certainly impacted them a season ago as well. Makes it a challenge for this defense. He's a stabilizing factor. Big third down here early on the red zone fringe.
It's Lassiter, the fullback, and into trouble with the exchange. LSU football. Jack Pyburn.
Well, Green turned around. He's pitching it straight back because it's going to be a downhill run. And you mentioned it, Taylor. Just didn't field the pitch cleanly. Ball ends up on the ground. And that's a huge takeaway. Arkansas was moving the football almost at will, running it. Had the passing game going. You see loaded up in I formation, and Washington just takes his eyes off of it. It's almost like Taylor Green took too much off of this pitch. Kind of lollipops it back there. Washington just could not field it. Big takeaway. You're starting a new quarterback in this game. Van Buren made 8 starts a season ago. But to be able to get that possession, stop Arkansas on that opening drive and get it back for your offense, a big start for the Tiger defense with that takeaway.
You mentioned Michael Van Buren did play last week against Alabama, starting this week against Arkansas. You know, handoff to Harlem Berry, true freshman, good game against the Tide last Saturday night, gets a few yards. Van Buren, sophomore from Bowie, Maryland, did play in 9 games and started 8 at Mississippi State last year. Today's game plan is for him, offensive coordinator Alex Atkins said. It's not for Garrett Nussmeier. It's going to utilize Van Buren's strengths, and they continue to encourage MVB to be himself. It's 2nd and 8. Van Buren will take a deep shot, and in, no, it's intercepted. Oh, almost intercepted. It was thrown right at Miguel Mitchell. 3rd and 8.
A dangerous play right here for LSU. You can see, I think, maybe a little bit of confusion. Now watch on the back of that. Xavion Thomas looks back at Van Buren. Looked like he might have stemmed that route incorrectly. Lucky for LSU that they maintained possession after that throw. That was what Van Buren struggled with a season ago versus Arkansas when he was at Mississippi State, was turnovers.
Now 3rd and 8 with Durham in the backfield. Van Buren. And he's going to be short of the first down. He's pushed out of bounds by big Cameron Ball. And after LSU forces the turnover, it's a 3 and out for their offense.
Well, after that throw, the miscommunication, or just a bad ball coming from Van Buren, LSU lucky to get a chance to end this possession with a punt. Both offenses coming out kind of stumbling out of the blocks. Arkansas was moving it. The turnover was huge. LSU just incapable of capitalizing it. That continues their streak this season. They haven't had a single game opening drive that resulted in a touchdown.
Grant Chadwick's punt is blocked, and it's picked up, and that's a touchdown. Caleb Wooden and Wyatt Simmons were in there, and it's Wooden who scores 15 yards.
Takes it right off his foot. That's textbook. Boy, it could have been either one of them. Wyatt Simmons or Wooden. Just overwhelming the LSU protection. Taylor, we talked about it. What do you have to do when you're trying to win on the road? You got to be able to run the football and play well on special teams. So far, Arkansas able to establish that ground game, and special teams getting them on the board. What a huge play by the punt return team.
And the extra point is up, and it is good by Scott Starzik. It looked like Arkansas was going to score, and they did. Just not the way you thought it would happen. A blocked punt for a touchdown. The Razorbacks strike first. Two-time Auburn Tiger Caleb Wooden in there to help block the punt and get Arkansas on the board.
A little confusion on the shield. So watch that bottom guy. See Bauer sharp. He just works towards the middle, but you've got two rushers to his right, just unaccounted for. Could have been Wyatt Simmons, could have been Wooden. Wooden ended up with the football. Really well executed in the special teams to capitalize on what was a stop with the fumble on their opening offensive possession for Arkansas.
And Wyatt Simmons, a freshman from Searcy, Arkansas, certainly gets some credit. As you referenced there, LSU now trails 7-0 as Michael Van Buren and the offense comes out on the field for the second time today. How about that first block punt in 4 seasons?
Last time versus their season finale opponent, Missouri. See, LSU wanted to, coming into this game, establish the ground game. Something they've struggled all season long was in that rushing offense.
Van Buren moves the pocket, and it's incomplete. He had an open receiver, Aaron Anderson, down there.
Get him on the move, see if you can't clean up the picture a little bit so you just got those levels. That ball is just a little bit too far out in front of Aaron Anderson. And what Arkansas came into this game saying, look, we got to find a way. We want to earn the right to rush the passer. Incomplete passes on that first down. Make second down huge.
And here's a line of scrimmage ball to try to get him going with Barryon Brown. One of the best specialists in SEC history, gets 3 yards, and it'll be 3rd and 7. Kenai Walker pushing the former Kentucky Wildcat out of bounds.
As LSU just trying to move that line of scrimmage. Easy completion, get it out there in space, see if you can get Brown, who's an excellent return man. A little bit of room to run, but just no blocking out in front. Think about these 3rd down scenarios. Van Buren brings something that Garrett Nussmeier doesn't, mobility. But Nussmeier's played a lot of snaps. You see that completion percentage. A guy that has a lot of reps in those 3rd and obvious scenarios like this one.
And he will roll to the right and throw on the move, incomplete. Looking for Tradez Green. Miguel Mitchell down there in coverage, and that's 2 3-and-outs to start the game for the LSU offense.
And a really nice rush by Justice Boone. See big number 0 giving chase. And Arkansas is able to win inside out. Michael Van Buren, we've mentioned the mobility, forced him out of that pocket though to run on space. And remember what happened last time this unit was on the field.
Grant Chadwick is one of the best punters in the conference. He has a 47-yard average. This time he gets it off, and this is one of his worst punts of the season, as it'll go down just barely in Arkansas territory. Not the start that LSU was hoping for. That's just a 25-yard punt for Chadwick, the sophomore who leads the SEC in punting average. Blocked punt on the last drive, and this one only 25 yards off the side of the foot.
football is presented by Allstate. You're in good hands, and in part by Mercedes-Benz.
0-0 Ice Bowl in 47, the 66 Cotton Bowl, and LSU stunned Arkansas. And then the first time it was called the battle for the Golden Boot in 1996 when number 19 LSU beat Arkansas 17-7. The 30th straight season the Golden Boot trophy has been passed out. LSU with a big lead overall in the series that will continue on an annual basis next year in Fayetteville. Talon Green back to pass on this first play of the second drive, and Rodney Hill, breaking tackles from Tigers, gets past the 45 inside the 44.
We mentioned the absences for LSU. Obviously missing your quarterback, missing your top defensive player. And were it not for that takeaway, the defense had the ball moved on them well on that opening possession by Arkansas, and a fantastic opener here on first down. This is second down in playbook for this Arkansas offense.
On 2nd and 1, it's Hill. That's just his 8th carry of the year, and he'll lose yardage. Here's Harold Perkins. He's back to himself last week in the backfield in Tuscaloosa, and here against Arkansas this week.
That's a heck of a way to take some of those plays off the board. Didn't get a great block on the edge from Raylan Sharp. And watch Harold Perkins just right underneath that block. And Rodney Hill got to be a little bit more assertive to that line of scrimmage.
That is Perkins' 33rd career tackle for loss.
You can see Arkansas, the potential to load up in protection if need be. Lots of blitzing last week from LSU.
All kinds of time for Green to throw it long, and he had him too. Wide open, but just overthrew C.J. Brown. And now it's 4th down, and see what Coach Petrino decides to do.
So far, it looks like he's going to lead that offense out on the field based on the way his defense has started the game. And this is just a miss by Talon Green. Maybe had a little bit too much time to stare that one down. And Bobby Petrino saying, look, we forced 2 3-and-outs from LSU offensively, survived that takeaway, and roll the dice here at the plus side of midfield.
Razorbacks are 5 of 11 on 4th down this season. And they run it with Green, and he gets the first down.
That's the element. We talked about it. This is why he is the most productive quarterback nearly in all of college football. He brings you that run element, and it's not like he's just a quarterback that's mobile. That guy is a legitimate threat as a runner with the ball in his hands. It was a nice read. A little bit gummed up at first. Had to cut back underneath it to get the yardage needed.
And a fresh set of downs inside the 38. Now a little trickeration. It's Sharp who ends up with the ball, gets a block from his quarterback, and a first down.
A little bit of everything early in this one, huh? I mean, you think about the opportunity. So you're running what looks to be like, see that counter, you're pulling a couple of offensive linemen from the right side. Get the defense leaning. It's going to be, I think, a running theme. The LSU is aggressive downhill, especially in that second level. See if you can get them to commit to one side and counter to the opposite side.
Straight ahead, it's Washington. And Washington with a burst down to the 20. He's got a ton of speed. It's why he has a chance for 1,000 yards rushing this season.
He's got to break more tackles, otherwise he'd have more explosive plays. You see that, just that arm tackle. He's able to get Washington to the ground. You mentioned it, great speed. There's no telling how many more yards he would have piled up if he could get a little bit better with yards after contact.
He dropped, Matt, that carry earlier. That was outside the 20-yard line. This is in the red zone where Arkansas scored 18 straight times. And on an option, Green keeps. And he's just short of the first down, tackled by Devon Keys.
The second time in this game, Arkansas has given LSU those option looks. They're attacking the edge of the defense, making that edge defender commit one way or the other. Those option concepts, and Talon Green we mentioned once again, just so dangerous. Obviously, even if you have those opportunities, if he pulls that football, that's as good as a gift. He's as electric as any with the ball in his hands. Another opportunity, you mentioned I formation, just like before. There was a fumble on the exchange last time.
Lassiter, the fullback. And on 3rd and 1, Washington stopped by Jack Pyburn. Pyburn, who forced and recovered that fumble on the first drive, forces a 4th down.
Same play. Same play. You're trying to pour up in there with a lead blocker. That time Arkansas fielded it cleanly, really well defended by LSU on the edge to force a 4th down attempt. And in this season, Arkansas only 5 of 11 on their 4th down shots. You see the proficiency in the red zone, risking an empty possession here if they can't convert.
Timeout LSU.
LSU's called their first charge timeout of the half.
4th and 1 for Taylen Green when we come back. Our Week 12 SEC football lineup continues today at 4:15 Eastern with number 23 Tennessee hosting New Mexico State. We cap the day with Mississippi State and Missouri in Columbia at 7:45. You can also watch anywhere on the all-new ESPN app. The day starts here with Arkansas leading LSU 7-0, and it's 4th and 1 for the Razorbacks and about a foot to go inside the Tiger 20. Green still has the ball, and he's got a 1st down as he throws it to his tight end, Jaden Platt.
So Arkansas loads up. Big personnel, big Blake Cherry, offensive lineman's number 41. Nice ball handling by Taylen Green, and a good job by Washington selling the handoff. Watch Washington. He acts like, oh, I'm spinning with it. Does good, just a good enough job to win the eyeballs. The 2nd level, Platt able to just leak out there in the flats. Another 4th down conversion The second one of this drive for Arkansas.
On the 10th play of the drive, here's a sweep, and Sharp is going to lose a yard as Pyburn is in the backfield again.
Good job, too. It looked like Harold Perkins Jr. setting the edge of that defense to turn Sharp up inside to Pyburn. It's a couple times now on this drive where we've mentioned Harold Perkins making plays from his linebacker spot, able to affect that one to slow down Arkansas. And again, they were trying to get that ball out on the edge quickly.
Green will take off, and Taylon Green's got a touchdown. That is his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. One of the best running quarterbacks in the game.
We talked about it early on.
Arkansas number 70 is reporting is 41.
Just talking about big Blake Cherry in there at 41. He was in there on the 4th down play, and that was QB draw, of course, all the way. Got that puller around in front. Arkansas does such a good job of creating angles for that offensive front to block.
And Starzik's extra point is up, and it's good. You're out of the college football playoff picture, not even bowl eligible. What does it matter, they say? Here's what it matters. They're passing out a trophy today. Taylon Green, touchdown.
It's a big golden boot, too. I mean, you think about it, this isn't some instant. Look at the size of that trophy. We can say, like, oh, this is a big game. It's a big trophy, literally and figuratively. This is a big game and a big trophy. We talked to both of these coaches, coaching staffs. They said, look, you know, we recognize a rivalry game. Hasn't been the season that either has wanted, but both of them they're starved to win a game. You're talking about losing streaks right now. LSU, it's been 3 games now to be able to get on the winning side. Arkansas has been so close. And really every game except for that Notre Dame contest this season, absolutely it matters. And right now, the Razorbacks offensively and in that special teams have been able to show the most fight early in this contest.
It's a little strange to be here in a game that kicked off before noon local time. Backup quarterback, LSU 5-4 on the season as they get it at the 25-yard line. How unique is it, you might ask? Well, it's the 102nd year of football in Tiger Stadium. The 638th game that's been played here, 17 of them ever have been kicked off before noon.
That's incredible. You were telling me that earlier. I almost spit out my sausage biscuit. I thought that is.
But you didn't.
I did not. No, I went ahead and ate it. But that's an unbelievable statistic given the number of games played here.
And then went for another.
You got to hedge your bets.
You did miss some amazing crawfish etouffee last night, though. Van Buren, he will hand it off here to Caden Durham, and Durham, who's started most of the season, picks up 7 yards. Alex Atkins, the offensive coordinator, said when another guy gets a bunch of opportunities, you know what happens. The other guy starts playing a lot better, and Caden Durham had a great week of practice. The sophomore from Oklahoma City who gashed Arkansas for over 100 yards with 3 touchdowns in this game last year.
And the best opening play now. So that gives you a little bit of breathing room. LSU offense has been really stagnant to start this game. That's a great first down run to open up the playbook.
On 2nd and 3, Van Buren a shovel pass, and Durham has the first down.
That time with Durham does a good job. Nice patience, really. Is a little bit delayed. You see the operation inside, and you get the defense leaning just a little bit. Durham just kind of hiding in there behind the offensive front. So now back-to-back. Those positive yardage plays, the first conversion of the game for this LSU offense. Trying to build a little bit of confidence for your backup quarterback in his first start.
And he gets it again, and he's slips out of 1 tackle in the backfield, and no gain. Jordan Young on the tackle for Arkansas, whose defense has been so maligned all season. Chris Wilson is now their interim defensive coordinator. especially against the run. They're last in the SEC, giving up 184 yards a game.
Well, that's why coming into this, LSU was saying, look, we just got to get that ground game going. It serves all kinds of purposes. But chief among them, that's the opportunity. That's what's been the opportunity versus this Arkansas defensive unit all season long. Just haven't been able to get it going until this possession on back-to-back carries.
Durham out, Berry back there in the backfield. Van Buren to throw to Berry. And Berry with a burst of speed gets a first down into Razorback territory.
Nice blocking out in front. A missed tackle, but able to kind of wiggle through there, but you got to earn it, especially get out in space. Good job by Berry. You can see why the coaches are so high on this true freshman. Did a great job in the open field. Good job by the convoy, offensive lineman getting out in front to create some space.
Just his third catch of the season for the freshman from St. Martin's Episcopal over in Metairie. Breaks a tackle here and dives forward down near the 42-yard line.
That's a couple of times now Arkansas has had a chance to maybe get a play behind the line of scrimmage. This time Xavier Sorey unblocked off the edge. You got to make that play. Got to be able to get them on the ground, these running backs. Great job that time by Berry just as he takes that handoff. You don't want your backs throwing moves in their own backfield, but a good job to get just past the line of scrimmage.
12 carries for 66 yards for Berry last week in Tuscaloosa. He's out, Durham back in. Van Buren still with the ball, slings it down there and finds his big target Xavion Thomas. First down, Tigers.
You take the conversion, especially the way they started. Maybe had a bigger chunk downfield. Instead went with the conversion. Heck of a throw. He's running hard to his right. He's throwing all the way across his body, back to the left, angling back towards the interior portion of the field. Good job to get that conversion and convert the sticks, but had a shot downfield. They come back to that concept later.
That was 11 yards for Thomas there. Van Buren to throw again, and a wide open receiver, but it's dropped by Brown.
You could see confusion in the secondary for Arkansas. That's what plagued them all season long. Is you see this? That's a full blown, it's a bust. You see the corner playing way off. Both of them talking to the sideline. Julian Neal clearly confused. Didn't matter. Darian Brown going to secure that catch first. Was so eager to run after the catch and would certainly have been dangerous, as good as he is with the ball in his hands. But he skipped step one.
Near the end of the first quarter with the Tigers on the march. Down 2 touchdowns. Line of scrimmage ball, this time to Thomas. And Thomas approaches the 25, down at the 26. Justice Boone on the tackle at the end of the first quarter. Arkansas's just 2-7 on the season, but they want the Golden Boot back. Up 2 touchdowns as we go to the second. how about that start for the 3-6 Gamecocks? Here, the 2-7 Razorbacks. Up 2 scores on LSU, but the Tigers are driving. Caden Durham. Durham gets loose, and he scores! The leading ground gainer this season for the Tigers. A 27-yard touchdown. Damian Ramos makes it a 7-point game.
Well, it's a ground game that kind of sparked this drive. They're able to pick a first down on back-to-back carries. Great job up front. Just cover them up. Good job by that offensive front, finishing blocks downfield. Saw big Cohen Eccles putting some guy on his numbers in the backfield. Look at that. Nice finish. Good job by Caden Durham, who came into this season. I thought, wow, this is going to be a big season for him. He's gotten a little bit quiet. Obviously, wasn't nearly as productive as most thought, but as you mentioned, they got his attention a little bit. And on that drive, able to get the ground game going the way they intended.
Well, you said it. It started the season, good game at Clemson, 74 yards rushing, had 93 against the Gators, but then an ankle kind of limited him a bit in the middle of the season. But he certainly looks fresh today, sharing time with Harlem Berry.
A much needed answer for LSU, team in general, but that offense especially. When you start the game the way that they did, back-to-back 3-and-outs, and then to put together a 9-play 75-yard drive for a touchdown. Big confidence builder.
That kick goes out of bounds, and it'll give Arkansas good field position to start this possession.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball be placed at 35-yard line. First down.
And now our exclusive True South promo reader, Matt Stinchcomb.
Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern on the SEC Network, the ESPN app. We'll have the True South season finale. The annual behind-the-scenes show. A spring across the belly of the SEC in search of really good cheeseburgers. What a way to wrap up the year. True South, SEC Network.
Is John T here?
He just walked out of the booth.
Oh, okay, all right.
Stuck his head in quickly.
Oh, my goodness. Arkansas at the 35-yard line on this drive starts with Washington. And Washington with flags everywhere. Gets up near the 40-yard line.
Again, just trying to test that outside. You know, they talked about Arkansas wanting to get the ball to the perimeter. LSU very stout in the interior. Those two big bodies at defensive tackle. Time I think we're going to get the center, Caden Kittler, for a hold. Got him out there on the edge and just spun around a little bit.
Jason Autry is the first official flag.
There are 2 fouls against the offense. Holding. Offense number 52 is declined. Personal foul. Tripping. Offense number 50. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
Ooh.
It's a right guard, Kobe Branham, called for that trip.
Man, is this costly. No way to start it. Let's see if he lifts his leg to try to trip him. Nah, he's just rolling. Yeah, I mean, the hold, I see the hold there, of course, but, you know, that time, you know, Branham, he didn't really put his leg up to try to trip. The guy's just rolling around. Nothing but kneecaps and elbows once you hit the ground.
And instead of a 10-yard penalty, it's a 15-yard penalty. First and 25 for Green. And throws to the safety valve out of the backfield, and Washington dives forward. Up past the 25-yard line.
You know, something that plagued Arkansas last time out versus Mississippi State. Really unclean game. That probably doesn't quite capture it. 18 penalties. Really impacted the outcome of that one. Big hole to climb out of to start this possession after that tripping penalty.
Pickup of 6 there, 2nd and 19 now. Green, good protection so far in this game, and dives ahead out to the 30 where Jamari Butler was waiting on him. It'll be 3rd and long for Arkansas.
Taylor, we were talking to Fernando Carmona, who does a good job in protection there at his left guard spot, but he mentioned, you know, if you're going to play offensive line for Taylor Green, you can't have a clock in your head, because he's got to hold on to that football. He believes he can make something happen, and if it collapses around him, he's such a good scrambler. Tops in the SEC, 2nd in all of college football, making yards with his legs. Even with an empty backfield here, you got to be smart with how you rush. LSU really only showing 3 designated rushers.
They get a little pressure on him, though, and he has to throw it into the LSU bench. Harold Perkins put Green on the ground.
Oregon's quarterback was outside the tackle box. The pass landed beyond the line of scrimmage, incomplete. 4th down.
3rd time now we've seen Harold Perkins impact this game, showing his speed. You know, one of the few guys on the field that probably hang with Taylor Green out on the edge. That's how you can get away with LSU just rushing 3 guys. And that time they were able to collapse the pocket inside out. Perkins did not give Taylor Green any time to try to create out there on the perimeter.
Devin Bale to punt to Xavion Thomas. One thing Thomas hasn't done this year is return one to the house. He's done it his first 3 years. He won't get a chance here. Really good punt by Bale. It's a 52-yard punt. LSU back on offense, trailing 14-7. Wild so far in the SEC. Sam Pittman dismissed at the end of September for the Hogs. Billy Napier in the middle of October for the Gators. Brian Kelly here a few weeks ago, and Hugh Freeze at Auburn a couple weeks back. Now, Dan Wetzel of ESPN reported earlier this week that LSU and Brian Kelly are negotiating the terms of his buyout. That story continues to evolve. What's next for LSU and Arkansas is the question everybody's asking around here. Is Caden Durham gets a couple of yards, Snitch?
Yeah, obviously a lot of eyeballs on this one. It's a statewide issue, to say the least. You can see the buyouts. Of course, the common denominator in a couple of those. Jimbo Fisher, Brian Kelly, monster buyouts. Of course, Brian Kelly, as was reported this week, they're trying to figure out what that one actually looks like. But regardless, this is a program, one of the top programs in the country for sure.
On 2nd and 9, play action. Van Buren dumps it off to Johnson. Jawan doesn't get much as he barely gets past the 20.
You know, Taylor, after our conversations yesterday, I can't help but wonder if there's a legitimate candidate right here on the sidelines already for LSU in defensive coordinator Blake Baker. One of the things that you talk to everyone around the program, they talk about is we have to retain Blake. I asked him straight up yesterday, do you want to be a head coach? He said, absolutely I do. It would need to be the right fit, obviously, for me to take a job like that. I said, well, is this the right fit? He said, this place is special. I can't even begin to tell you about how much love I have for this place, what I think the potential is here. Everyone talks about his ability to fire players up on all sides of the football.
His offense is out there now, and it's a first down ball. Best one from Van Buren today to Barryon Brown, who sits down at the 41-yard line. It's a 20-yard completion.
Well, excellent protection up front. Van Buren with a nice clean pocket to work from and throws a strike right there, sat down right in the middle. That soft spot in the zone. They talked about Brown. They've tried to get him the football a couple of times. That time able to complete it downfield for that conversion.
Van Buren, it seems like there's some communication problems there with Harlem Berry, and ends up taking a sack from Steven Dix. Loss of 6.
You said it, Taylor. You got a true freshman back there and a quarterback who's been said to have got about half the practice reps all season long, which is interesting. Probably speaks to the status of Garrett Nussmeier's health week in and week out. You can see definitely some confusion. Looked almost like he was looking to throw a screen to the right side. Might have been confusion more with his receivers on the perimeter. Regardless, big negative yardage play to start this set of downs.
Van Buren, a line of scrimmage ball, and Xavion Thomas takes off and makes this 3rd down more manageable. It's interesting what you just said there, Matt, about sharing the reps. And if you look at Garrett Nussmeier's numbers this year, they're just nowhere close to what he did last year. People were thinking Heisman Trophy. They were thinking college football playoff for the Tigers, but they were also thinking they were going to get a healthy Garrett Nussmeier, and I'm not sure they ever did.
No, and you think about the retooled offensive front. You know, it's not just skill position. We've learned that with other teams this year. We can't just go out there and say, okay, our quarterback's back, and we've got some weapons out wide. And the big guys up front, of course, you got to keep that trigger man healthy, and Nussmeier, I think, has been struggling with it all year.
On 3rd and 5, plenty of time. Van Buren dumps it off. Good ball to Durham, and Caden is inside the 35.
I'm talking with Chris Wilson, the defensive coordinator at Arkansas, started the year as an analyst. He said, look, it's the explosive plays that have just eaten us up. Angle route by Durham out of the backfield. Good job by Van Buren, just laying it out in front of him.
For an injury that was presented prior to the ball being spotted.
Yeah, J.J. Shelton was banged up on the play, and that will halt play here with 9:18 to go. Arkansas scored the first 2 touchdowns. LSU minutes away from the next 2. What's that thing you do on the internet, PB, with the panda with the leaf in his mouth in shock? I think that's happening right now in College Station. Wow. Number 3 team in America, undefeated, down 24. Here, Caden Durham gets a couple of yards. Look at that, just 2 teams in the league that are undefeated in conference play. Of course, Alabama lost their first game of the season to Florida State, and they've been running roughshod through the SEC since, although I'd be careful today against Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially given the way they performed offensively in that second half versus the defense we're seeing on the field today in LSU. There's no doubt Oklahoma, really good defense in their own right. A lot of negative yardage plays.
Swing it out to Barry here. And nice open field tackle made by Wyatt Simmons, who was in on that punt block earlier.
Back-to-back, nice plays by Wyatt Simmons. Really nice tackle out in space. We get him out on the ground, tackling not always sound this season for Arkansas. They're needing to step up here as LSU driving the football. They had that big answer for offensive possession previously. Trying to get it going again. Need a third down conversion. Been able to see Van Buren. He had a clean pocket to work from earlier in this possession.
This one a 3rd and 6. This one he's pressured and he's going down. Justice Boone on the sack to force a long field goal try, you would think.
Man, a really nice rush by Quincy Rhodes. Watch him just wipe the hands of Weston Davis, who wins almost right now, and forced Van Buren right into the waiting arms of Justice Boone. Both edge defenders for Arkansas. We've called them a couple of times in this game. That's a big negative yardage play, not only to force the field goal, but to push them back to make it more difficult.
Damian Ramos, the school record holder with 62 career field goals. This one is number 63 from 50 yards away. Arkansas with the first 14, LSU with the next 10.
by T-Mobile 5G home internet.
Mike 7. It's been out there since 2017. This tradition is almost 90 years old. One of the coolest things you will see at any campus is Mike the Tiger. And his Tigers have scored the last 10. Frank Wilson, head coach of the Tigers in Baton Rouge today. Former principal at Perry High School, Shane Williams, his mentor, passed away last week. Wilson spoke at the funeral in New Orleans on Tuesday. Right before Mr. Williams, Frank's mentor, passed away, he looked at his son in reference to Frank Wilson being named the LSU interim coach and said, "We made it." And then moments later, passed away. What a powerful time, not only for the Wilson family, but everyone that has loved on Frank throughout his life as he coaches the Tigers here today in Death Valley. Taylon Green spins around and throws into traffic, and is it intercepted? It is.
I think it was Harold Perkins Jr. again. What a game number 7 is having. Heroes end up jumping this route. Trying to get the ball to Omega Blake. We've called him multiple times in this game. Now the second takeaway for the LSU defense.
An interception by the defense. First down LSU.
I don't know that I've ever seen that many people around the football before, as just about every Tiger converged on Perkins as he made that grab. That is his 4th career interception.
Trying to get it downfield. Great job by Perkins breaking on that ball. We called his name a couple times as Arkansas is trying to get it to Omega Blake again. And LSU now setting up that offense. The defense for the second time in the game giving their offense a short field. Last time Van Buren was very much in rhythm as a passer. 5 for 5, 5 different targets on that previous field goal scoring drive.
And now Van Buren will turn and throw out of the backfield. It's Barry. And the freshman's out of bounds near the 20 where Steven Dix pushes him out.
You see Van Buren coming into this game. We talked about it. He's a mobile quarterback, likes that deep ball, showed to be aggressive last year in his 8 starts for Mississippi State. But a couple times in this game where he's been smart, not looking to throw a haymaker, throw a completion, get big yardage on that first down to set up a second and manageable.
And handed off this time. And Barry bounces off Razorbacks, not much. Make that Durham, excuse me. It really has been a play-by-play basis today between Barry and Durham going in and out of the game, and that's what Alex Atkins, the offensive coordinator, said. Both will be utilized and will ride the hot hand.
We've seen both have been able to contribute different ways in the passing game as well, out in the flats, out in space. See if they run the football here on a 3rd and short.
They will, and Durham is close. Jeffrard on the tackle for Arkansas.
And you think, you know, when it's 3rd and that far, short, but it wasn't that short. It was a long 1 to 2. You got to be thinking 4th down territory.
On 4th and a foot, and hold on.
Oh, and if you're Arkansas, they're going to get LSU for a procedure here.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Looked like it could have been a turnover on downs there, Matt, if the play continued.
Yeah, and now, so here comes the field goal unit, but you're right. If you're Arkansas, you'd rather just play the down. This big Ori Williams on the right side was early. And even after being early, it was a big part of the reason why it was a negative yardage play. Arkansas got a stop right there. Now LSU, the chance to salvage that drive.
Yeah, Danny saw Ely had a tackle for loss, but instead the play doesn't count. And now Ramos from 42 to make it a 1-point game. What a career by the senior from Baltimore.
So LSU able to get points right there, but I got to say, Arkansas defense, that's twice now in this game. They've been able to come out there and on a sudden change, find a way to get a stop. Now, last time they had a lot of field to defend. This time they're on the minus side of the field. A good job by the Razorback D to force that field goal attempt, nearly getting off the field with no points after a turnover.
Tonight, after our primetime matchup in Columbia, Missouri, between Mississippi State and the Tigers, we'll have SEC Final with Dari, Chris, and Benjamin. They'll take you through the biggest stories of the day, break down all the games, also available on the all-new ESPN app. I'm sure your phone's doing this too. Mine's going crazy right now. Can you explain what's happening in College Station? 30-3 Gamecocks.
It's turnovers. I mean, you think about that. Obviously, turnovers, you get the explosive play to Nick Harbor. But we've said this all season long. I mean, we've seen changes throughout the year, but there's so much in the middle of this conference.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of elite teams. And even A&M, when you look at A&M and the teams that they've played in the conference, they really have not been challenged from an opposition standpoint. South Carolina taking advantage of their miscues.
Well, and look at the teams, Matt, that have losing records and how close they have been throughout the season. We saw Auburn last week. You just referenced the Gamecocks. How about Arkansas all year long in all these close losses? They have 5 losses by 6 points or less. A 1-point loss to Memphis. We were there 2 weeks ago. Crazy how they ended up losing to Mississippi State. They had A&M on the ropes. Petrino in his debut as the interim head coach lost by 3 on Rocky Top. And in Oxford with Coach Pittman and the Razorbacks lost by 6.
The only game that wasn't a contest was Notre Dame.
Right.
Otherwise, Arkansas has been in them.
This is Hill, and I believe there was a whistle.
Yeah.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 50. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Bobby Petrino.
Please reset the game clock to 5 minutes, 8 seconds, 5:08. Thank you.
Of course, was the head coach in 2008 to 2011, had such great success. Cotton Bowl win, 11 wins in 2011. 64 years old now from Lewiston, Montana. Such a great offensive mind in college football. Louisville twice, the Falcons, Western Kentucky, Missouri State. 137 wins in 17 years.
The guy can build an offense, there's no question. Needs to get his offense going now. Only 1 scoring possession.
Now Green will try to step up and instead will take off, and he gets tripped up. Harold Perkins Jr. A tackle for loss, a sack, an interception, all in the first half.
We saw him earlier influence the 3rd down because he's just kind of spying. This time running the edge. And the thing is, Taylor Green, he can usually escape most pass rushers. He's fast enough. Harold Perkins is a closer. And by that I mean he eats up ground. On the heels of his interception, now a negative yardage play. Man, the way number 7 is playing here this afternoon.
2nd and a mile. Green throwing downfield, and it's caught near the 25-yard line by Raylan Sharp. Mansour Delane pushing him out immediately.
At least able to grab some of that yardage back. Earn your way to get to a 3rd and 10. But you got to think, LSU, we saw this last time on a 3rd down. They only rushed 3, and they let Harold Perkins kind of spy Taylor Green and then trigger as soon as he left the pocket. See if they have a similar approach here. It looks like they'll only have 3 designated rushers. You got to figure out if there's going to be more. You've got 7 or 8 right there near the line of scrimmage.
Facing pressure, and down he goes. Unblocked was Deshaun Spears.
So Blake Baker's got him guessing. Well, this time they end up bringing them all. So you see all those Tigers that could drop. Are they going to drop? Are they going to rush? And that time, Spears able to just get right upfield, confuse the protection scheme inside out. And that time, nowhere to go for Taylor Green. The speed of the LSU defense really slowing down Arkansas and Taylor Green's ability to improvise.
Bale had a 52-yard punt the first time, needs another good kick here. And barely got that one off.
How did he
Dead
get
at the
that punt, Taylor?
40-yard line,
Wow.
43-yard punt. Arkansas blocked one earlier. LSU's so close here.
I don't know how he gets this punt off. It looked to me like it was going to be a certain block. It does look like.
Yeah, Aiden Anding, the freshman from Grambling, Louisiana, was right there. Razorbacks starting out like game busters, scoring the first 14, including that block punt, but LSU has scored on its last 3 drives.
Well, you think those last 3 offensive possessions for Arkansas, 2 3-and-outs, just one play, it was an interception.
And Van Buren wants to step up and does, and it's incomplete. Just over the arms of Simmons. Brown couldn't make the catch, and he's slow, and he's not gotten up.
He was seemingly injured almost right away. I don't know what the injury would have been. He was trying to come back to that throw from Van Buren. Watch Brown, he comes all the way across the field, opposite side of the formation. Your defender falling down, and hard to tell what the injury would have been. Almost like he was holding his hand, maybe a finger there.
2nd and 10. Van Buren hands it off to Barry. And Barry's going the wrong direction. Lose about a yard there. Xavier Sorey and Kanai Walker.
The Razorback defense trying to hold on to the footing they established on the previous LSU possession, defending that short field. The 3rd and 10 plus, and we've seen Van Buren find a way to make magic. They've done a better job protecting him as a passer.
Really no reason to snap this, Matt, before the 2-minute timeout. LSU does get the ball. Oh, and they do. They draw him off. Good job by Van Buren there.
Offside. Defense number 10, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
He did such a good job. It was almost too good of a job, because you'd rather have a shot at a free play. You still got the 5 yards in your back pocket. But because Sorey was so far upfield, he was unabated and had to whistle it dead. Regardless, an opportunity after the penalty for LSU to get another conversion on 3rd.
It'll be 3rd and 6 when we come back. Look forward to that, guys. Tigers trying to convert this third down. Remember, they do get the ball to start the second half. Van Buren facing pressure, throws, and Barry makes the catch, but there are flags down. He would be short of the marker if the play stands.
Pass interference, offense, number 0.
Yeah. You saw Wyatt Simmons, linebacker for Arkansas. He ends up on the ground, but watch Xavier Thomas.
Pass interference, defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat third down.
He meant offense.
Fouls against the offense.
There you go. Yeah. Justice Boone's like, wait,
huh? No. I'm not playing offense, and I was nowhere near the pass. And Xavier Thomas, he clipped Wyatt Simmons just a little bit. Sometimes you call it a rub route, but when there's a penalty, it's a pick. The official said, we're going to back you up this time.
Instead of 3rd and 6, now 3rd and 21 for Van Buren, and Barry drops it.
There's the stop again for the Arkansas defense. We talked about the quick change. They're able to get that and force that penalty, or at least benefit from one on offense. The back up, you think about the negative yardage plays, how big they are in this game. They're trying to get in a rhythm offensively. So LSU, we've done a good job on their previous possessions. Touchdown, then back-to-back field goals, forced to punt it away.
Remember how big of a problem punting's been so far. One blocked, one just 24 yards. Barely got that one off, but a good punt by Chadwick, sending Shanks back near his 20 and tackled by Tigers immediately. 50-yard punt to flip the field to Marcus Cooley in there on the tackle. And just a reminder, coming up at 4:15 Eastern time here on SEC Network, number 23 Tennessee playing New Mexico State on Rocky Top. And then tonight in the town we call Como, Mississippi State is at Mizzou at 7:45. I love what Eli Drinkwitz said earlier this week about the meaning behind every game. Just because you get eliminated from the college football playoff doesn't mean the season's over. Taylon Green in trouble and stays upright all the way into the Tiger bench as West Weeks, the Weeks brothers, shoving him out. See Arkansas, one of the top scoring offenses, and again, Green leads all players in college football with 335 total yards per game.
Well, they got to get him going because they only have 8 total yards this quarter. That's after they opened up the game. Gangbusters. They ended that first drive with a fumble. Nearly 100 yards, over 100 yards.
Protection is good, incomplete. He's trying to get it in there to C.J. Brown, and D.J. Pickett got a hand on it. 3rd down.
LSU mixing it up. So on 1st down, they had a little zone pressure. They dropped Pyburn. This time, great job breaking on that football by D.J. Pickett, the true freshman, to break that up. And Arkansas has really struggled. They have not had a conversion on 3rd down all afternoon. We mentioned it. They got to get something going here to try to find a way to extend an offensive possession. LSU, you see them stemming that defensive front. Last time, they brought everybody. Didn't drop any of them. Overwhelmed the protection scheme.
Flags are down. Green is running for a first. A.J. Halsey is injured for LSU.
Offside, defense number 88, lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down. Timeout for the injury.
Senior from Houston, Texas, Halsey, of course, played for New Mexico and for Houston and has been a big-time contributor for Blake Baker's defense for LSU.
Take a look at the end of this play. And looked to me like his head on the turf as much as anything. Maybe even got kicked or kneed. A little friendly fire at the end of that play. We talked about it before. You know, a lot of times when you see those head injuries, it's really the ground. We're getting kicked. Watch that, bam, it is. Man, definitely got kneed in the back of the head. Deshaun Spears just trying to cover down on defense and ends up getting his own teammate in the back of the head there. He's up and walking off the field. Good to see that.
AJ's made over 40 starts in his collegiate career. Off the field here after Green extends the drive with that first down run.
How about that play call on 3rd and 8? You see that? You anticipate pressure. You got a puller. You're able to get one of your best runners and your quarterback downfield for the first.
Fresh set of downs. Green slings it incomplete. C.J. Brown looked like was the intended target, but not near the football.
That's twice.
Really on the field is number 3 for Arkansas. Was in the area of the pass, incomplete. Second down.
But you can hear that, you know, even the officials are saying, hey, look, it's not intentional grounding. That's how bad of a miss it was. And you have to wonder now, that's a couple times here in the first half where Green and his receivers on entirely different pages.
It's 3 of his last 8, Matt, for 20 yards and an interception.
Part of that's a function of LSU getting home and pressure.
Here's more. Out the backside goes Green. And we'll dive ahead past the 40-yard line. And let's see if either team uses a timeout here.
You see,
Arkansas has called timeout. Please place the game clock at 54 seconds, 0-5-4. This is 30 seconds and late.
Razorbacks 2-7 on the season. If you just watch their offense on the field, you would never guess that. You would say this is a team with a winning record that's going to go to a bowl game at the end of the season, but they've had defensive issues throughout the season. Bobby Petrino, of course, the offensive coordinator here the last couple of years, turned the defense over to Chris Wilson after Coach Pittman was dismissed.
You think about that offense, they've piled up yards, they're good in red zone, they're one of the best in the country, second best in the conference at 3rd downs. Although we have not seen that be a very good down for them this afternoon, but it's been turnovers and explosive plays allowed on defense that have really hurt Arkansas. And you see the numbers. They've run the football well, the 3rd down's outstanding, converting over half of them. The story in this game has been the turnovers. You got an interception and a fumble. And the ineptitude on 3rd downs, now only 1 of 6. Another 3rd down here to try to extend the drive out of an empty backfield. Still got Green as a runner. They ran it on 3rd and 8 last time.
On 3rd and 4, wide open first down ball into LSU territory goes Raylan Sharp. Sharp has a catch in 39 straight. He has a couple today.
Not sure what LSU was doing here. It's almost like they bluff blitzed. They check up there on the inside. Devon Keys may have ended up being the spy. Didn't matter. Green able to deliver a ball under duress with some of that pressure getting to him late.
24 yards there. Now Green again has a wide open receiver, and Courtney Crutchfield made that grab.
Again, confusion on the perimeter. The safety's not in position to make this play. No carry by the corner underneath. Crutchfield comes up with a big catch downfield.
Arkansas has called their 2nd charge timeout of the half. It's 30 seconds and late.
It's Crutchfield's first catch of the season. Spent last year at Mizzou. What a time to get it on the big play that goes down to the 8-yard line.
6'2", and he used every inch of it.
To 42 seconds, 0-4-2.
You know, we wondered 2 weeks ago when Coach Chiswick and I left the stadium in Fayetteville if we'd see Talon Green today, Matt. Last play on offense 2 weeks ago, he had a neck injury. Was hit by Nave Sanders of Mississippi State here and had to be helped to the locker room. But Green did come back and practice in the open week and then didn't miss a practice this week. In fact, Coach Petrino said, I had to limit Taylon Green in practice.
Yeah, he was very declarative about his status of Taylon Green. They weren't gaming it at all. Said, look, he's full go. We're ready to go. But early on in that open date, Petrino did mention, he was like, look, Green wanted to be back in there. That speaks to the competitor that he is. Coming off of that injury, given the circumstances, could have easily opted or elected to string that out. Instead, he was pressing to get into the lineup. Arkansas incredibly proficient in this part of the field. 35 of 37 coming into this game in the red zone.
At the 9, Green can't get the edge. Good job by Pyburn again. Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator.
Arkansas has called their third and final timeout of the half.
He said, Matt,
Please
we want
the game clock to 38 seconds, 0-3-8.
Said we want Green to move laterally today, and they've done a good job when that happens.
Yeah, that time, you know, Pyburn ends up with the tackle, but it was really Keys inside out, kind of blocking that rush lane. So he stepped up, and there was nowhere to go downfield for Taylon Green as a rusher, had to bounce it outside. Jack Pyburn, transfer from Florida, did a good job of shedding that block and getting the tackle. It was really dangerous down here. You know, defensively, even if you hold up in coverage, that Q run game is so dangerous with Taylon Green. We saw it earlier on the 3rd and 8. Arkansas does not hesitate to turn him into a runner at any point of the field, certainly here in the red zone.
So now Arkansas is out of timeouts on a 2nd and goal from the 9. So good in the red zone, as you see. Green throws, and it's intercepted. He threw it right to Mansour Delane.
Early on the field is an interception for a touchback. First down, LSU at the 20-yard line.
Now I'll put this one on Omega Blake. You got to finish this route, so he's trying to fight across the face, and he just lays down on it. I don't know what he was thinking he was doing right there. He was working to get across of Mansour Delane's face. It was obvious that Taylon Green, that's what he was anticipating, and Omega Blake just kind of laid off the end of that route. Delane able to come up with the takeaway, and again, that's been the story largely here in the second half. Bobby Petrino not happy. The truth is that his receiver just kind of took his foot off the gas. It looked to me like Blake actually had that route won initially across Delane's face and didn't maintain that position. Certainly Taylon Green was counting on another takeaway by the LSU defense.
It's the 6th of Delane's collegiate career, and LSU run the ball with Caden Durham. They do have 2 timeouts left, as Durham gets 14 yards.
We'll take one here.
LSU has called their 2nd charge timeout of the half. It's 30 seconds in late.
I think Coach Petrino was upset, thinking that Delane was kind of handsy here.
So watch Blake. So he wins it across his face, but he just stops. I don't see it. You know, the offensive guys fighting position for position. The defender is as well. I just don't know what Blake was doing on that route. It's like he just shut it down. I don't know if he didn't expect the ball to come to him or not. He ends up hanging out his quarterback on that throw.
This is the same crew that was in Fayetteville 2 weeks ago. Of course, Arkansas had a school record 18 penalties for 193 yards in that game.
You mentioned timeouts in your pocket, but we have not seen the ball go downfield for this LSU offense yet.
Harlem Berry. Berry has a first down, and 2 good LSU runs. Maybe changes the game plan here with 22 seconds left in the half.
No question. You started this possession.
LSU has called their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
You get the takeaway. You started with 33 seconds. You pop 2 runs, explosive runs. Great job by Berry, forcing missed tackles, running through would-be tackles. And you're right, that changes your mindset now offensively.
2 consecutive 14-yard runs. Get another one, or any play around that length, and that gives Ramos a chance. His career long.
Please reset the game clock to 23 seconds, 0-2-3. The runner was down with 23 seconds remaining. Thank you.
His career long was at Clemson earlier this season, the 52-yarder that he made there. So 19 yards to get back to that point. As Coach Petrino is still not over what happened at the end of that offensive possession.
Well, it could have ended more poorly for his offense. Empty possessions, we mentioned only 2 other times has Arkansas been turned away in the red zone. Otherwise, they always come away with points. And this is that middle 8 opportunity. LSU with a chance to score here and start the second half with a possession.
Van Buren will load up. He'll throw. Deep ball. Incomplete. Barry on Brown, though. There are flags on the field. Brown tried to run under it.
Pass interference, defense number 22. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot includes an automatic first down.
That's Wooden who had the touchdown earlier.
Well, we said it, Taylor. We hadn't seen the ball go downfield, and you can't panic with the ball in the air. That was Wooden. He had the pump block earlier. He had a handful. You're sitting there going, look, better the PI than the explosive. Not sure that ball would have been completed. Regardless, first time we've seen one really uncorked downfield for Van Buren. He's been pretty disciplined with his decision making.
Van Buren launches again into coverage, and it's incomplete.
He's lucky to get this one back. We said it earlier, that's a couple in this game. The Van Buren's put the ball in jeopardy. Second interception. It easily could have gone Arkansas's way to end this scoring threat. Julian Neal just couldn't quite come up with it. Be smart, like you mentioned here. You got an opportunity to get into field goal range. You don't have to throw haymakers here.
12 seconds left in the half. LSU does get the ball to start the second half. Van Buren surveys and throws, and that's caught inside the 25 by Thomas. 7 seconds to go in the half.
There's the completion you get downfield, and on comes your field goal unit.
They're going to bring him on right here.
Yep.
Don't know why you just wouldn't go ahead and clock this, but are they saying he was out of bounds? Okay, they gave him the sideline, so 7 seconds left. This will be a 42-yard attempt for Ramos. And LSU takes the lead. Looked like the Tigers were uncertain on whether or not the clock was going to run there.
Yeah.
Why they frantically ran onto the field, and they get the 3.
They definitely took the field like it was a fire alarm field goal attempt. Regardless, how about the execution at the end of half? Call it a 10-point swing, the way Arkansas was on the doorstep, had that opportunity to score. Instead, you get a takeaway and a couple explosive runs to start that possession, back-to-back 14-yarders, and you're able to steal 3 points. Arkansas defense, they've done a good job of responding off of the takeaways and the quick changes. That time ceded too many yards to the LSU offense to give them those points. And like you mentioned, Taylor, get the ball first in the second half, claw their way into this thing.
Sometimes you don't know how the game's going to go. For whatever it's worth, through the first 30 minutes, this is about what we expected. Two teams fighting and clawing to find their way in the battle of the Golden Boot. Arkansas scores the first 14 points. LSU the final 16. Tigers get the football to start the second half.
Well, the message you have to send at halftime. If you're Arkansas, look, protect this football and find a way.
And here's Alyssa with Coach Petrino.
Coach, you were frustrated after the end of that offensive
I feel
drive.
bad for our players. We come down here, we got a chance to score a touchdown. They don't make the call.
What are you going to say to your team at the half?
We're going to go fight. We're going to keep fighting, all right? We'll have to play everybody.
Taylor?
Fired up coach right there that Feels like his team should have had another chance on offense at the end of the half. Instead, LSU leads Arkansas 16-14. Peter Burns, Chris Doring, Benjamin Watson have you set for the halftime report. It's halftime here at Tiger Stadium, where our score is LSU 16, Arkansas 14. We're back with more action after these messages.
Jones steps, throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas!
So LSU's bid for the national title comes down to this two-point play. Here's Flynn, deep, intercepted. The dream dies for LSU. Arkansas by 2 in the third overtime.
Allen under pressure. Sack loses it. Does LSU have it? They do.
This is SEC College Football presented by Allstate. This is the 71st battle for the Golden Boot as we get ready to start the third quarter, and the game is up for grabs once again here in 2025. At Stench, I'm Taylor. Alyssa's down there. What a wild first half that was. Arkansas comes out like gangbusters. LSU finishes with the last 16 points of the half.
And you think about the impact that some of the turnovers had on this football game. You think about the opportunities to score and how they go the opposite direction. Harold Perkins Jr. had himself one heck of a first half with an interception. And then going in right before the end of the second quarter, Arkansas looking like they're going to get another score. Instead, an interception in the end zone led to an LSU made field goal, 6 points off of 3 Arkansas turnovers in the first half for the LSU Tigers.
Those are the good hands plays brought to you by Allstate as LSU gets ready to go on offense here to start the third quarter. And now let's take a look at the impact players brought to you by Hardee's.
Well, we mentioned the big plays in the first half, and you know, a variety of guys really contributing. Think about the playmakers that they have, the quarterback position, of course, the turnovers defensively. Harold Perkins is probably one of those guys, you know, we mentioned that making those plays on the defensive side of the football.
On the first play, Van Buren's going to take a shot, one-on-one ball over there, and caught by Xavion Thomas. Kanai Walker all over Thomas. What a catch.
We talked about right before the end of the half, we didn't see a lot of downfield passing from LSU. They uncorked a few right before halftime, and then right out of the gate, aggressive play calling, attacking the Arkansas secondary, and Xavion Thomas coming up with a big catch for an explosive play to start the second half.
34 yards to be exact. And now to the ground with the freshman Barry. And he gets down near the 35-yard line. Just the 5th carry for Harlem today.
Taylor, when you think about this first half and really the second quarter, LSU didn't make a living on the ground, but they got the ground game going enough. And what Arkansas wants to be able to do is to play with those 2 deep safeties, but you can't when those runs start popping. You got to start borrowing from the secondary.
Van Buren fakes to Barry, facing pressure, goes down from the backside. Xavier Sori got it.
Another really good pass rush off the edge. We mentioned Quincy Rhodes, and that time just a little stutter. Got him to bite on the inside move. True freshman over there at left tackle. A lot of growing pains. That is an incredibly hard position to play as a young player, especially versus playmakers like Sori, a veteran player in that Arkansas defense. Big negative yardage play. Arkansas defense needed it after that big explosive they afforded to Xavier Thomas.
And now 3rd and 11 out of field goal range. Van Buren steps up into a throw, and that's incomplete. Threw it right into traffic. And a good play made by Shakur Smalls to force the 4th down.
I got to tell you, Arkansas defense, they did a pretty good job in this game. We've talked about it a couple of times. They get the quick changes off the turnovers. They were able to get some stops or force a field goal attempt. And then now here, give up that explosive to start the half, to find a way to dig in your heels to stop that opening possession. Otherwise, LSU started with a ton of momentum here.
And now Chadwick tried to pin Arkansas deep on their first possession. Fair catch made there by Shanks. at the 12-yard line. Alyssa, what do you think Coach Petrino's heart rate was when you talked to him?
Yeah, it had to be pretty high, right? If he was wearing one of those Orange Theory heart rate monitors, maybe it would have melted right off of his arm, because it's pretty hot down here too, guys. I mean, don't forget, despite where two of these programs are, this is a rivalry game. This is a trophy game, right? We were told that Frank Wilson actually showed some clips to his LSU team earlier in the week from over the years of Arkansas walking into Death Valley with a little pep in their step and saying, hey, this is going to mean a lot to both sides. No matter what the record looks like, it's a big one.
It's Washington. Mike just gets a couple here. It's just his 6th carry of the game. One of the best backs in the SEC's been bottled up. And like Alyssa said, really matters today. Both coaches went on and on about how much the rivalry matters to these teams, and it typically goes down to the wire. So many memorable moments. Think about McFadden and Jones running all over the place 18 years ago, and that epic Arkansas win against the eventual national champions. It's Green keeping it. Talon gets free. There goes Green. Stays on his feet all the way down to the 30.
Well, Arkansas offense needed that. You get that drive right before half, didn't end the way you wanted. Get your quarterback in the ground game going. Designed QB run. Get that counter action, had a couple of pullers in front. Get your tight ends involved. Jones and Platt, nice blocks out in front. Talon Green with an explosive. Both these offenses coming out swinging.
55 yards to Marcus Cooley made the tackle to save a touchdown, and now it's Washington. Washington inside the 10, 1st and goal Razorbacks.
LSU's got to get to tackling. You think about now, a couple opportunities on that one. And Washington, who struggled to break tackles, was able to run free and through that line of scrimmage. Back-to-back explosive plays on the ground for the Razorback O.
Yeah, 55 and then 23. Washington again. Washington gets to the 5. Halsey on the tackle.
A heck of a play by Halsey to fight off a block. C.J. Brown to be able to upend Washington on that one, just to allow his defensive teammates to catch their breath. Think about how quickly both these offenses have come out here in the second half. And the Arkansas Razorback ground game power in this drive.
LSU jumping at the snap, and Washington tripped up by Javian Toviano.
Offside. Defense number 88 was in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalty's half the distance to the goal. Replete 2nd down.
That's the 2nd time. Bernard
Please
Gooden
reset
is
the game
trying.
clock to 10 minutes, 15 seconds.
A devil of a time with the game clock today, but Bernard Gooden, he's trying to time up the snap. Now, there have been a couple of snaps where he's done a good job of doing it. That's earlier he lined up in the neutral zone. This time you concede free yardage when there's not a lot of field to defend. He's just trying to time it up. Now eventually Arkansas is going to need to change up that snap count so the defense isn't teeing off.
Arkansas's run it on every play on this drive, and they will again here. Diving down to the 1 goes Cam Settles. Settles getting some time today due to Braylon Russell's injury. And speaking of injuries,
Officials timeout for an injury.
Fernando Carmona was slow to get up.
I think we could credit Talon Green with this tackle. I think his left foot just barely clipped. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Ends up getting tripped up in the backfield before any LSU defender could get there. Carmona was right there at the point of attack at left guard. To sub him out. Certainly not something you're eager to do, especially when you get in the low red zone. And we mentioned earlier, Arkansas very effective in this part of the field, but with that turnover right at the end of the 2nd quarter, only the 3rd empty red zone possession for the Razorback defense. LSU found a way to get a stop there.
See Blake Cherry, an offensive lineman, wearing a different jersey number at the end, at the bottom of the formation.
You got a backup left guard in there, Brooks Edmondson, in for the injured Carmona.
And Carmona is up on the sidelines, guys. He's not being tended to right now.
Please reset the game clock to 9 minutes, 55 seconds with a 25-second play clock. Both will start on the ready for play. It reset to 40 while we were waiting. Third down.
And Carmona's coming back in, Alyssa. So
Look, the White House saying, look, that was a way to stop it on a clock technicality. Carmona, because he was injured, has to leave for one snap. There's not a timeout called by either side. Edmondson back in there at left guard.
Green talks to every teammate before this 3rd and goal. Washington. No. Dominic McKinley and others in there on the stop. 4th and goal, Razorbacks.
Great surge by that LSU defensive front. We're trying to get out to the C gap, to that right side, outside the tackle. Washington saw some daylight, a backside cut, nowhere to go.
We haven't heard Tiger Stadium get really loud yet until now. Green keeps it. No signal yet. Turnover on downs.
They're in the I formation. They tried to slam it up in there behind Green.
Willing is a little bit short of the goal line, which is a turnover on downs. Please reset the game clock to 8 minutes, 57 seconds. Timeout.
I don't know that there would be a look that would say otherwise. What a stand at the goal line.
Jacoby and Guillory got him by the headwear. Turnover on downs. Meanwhile here, Peter, LSU barely out of their own goal line after a goal line stand by the defense. Van Buren will just dive forward and give himself and his teammates some breathing room all the way near the 5-yard line. How about the last stop by the Tiger defense?
You see the Tigers go over top. A great job of getting to Taylon Green almost immediately. Watch him kind of frog over. Great job by Jacoby and Guillory to do that.
Arkansas had scored 19 straight times. They got in the red zone. Now they haven't scored the last 2 times. Got inside the 10 2 times in a row and didn't score either trip.
Interesting game. LSU defense standing up versus one of the better third down and red zone offenses.
Now Van Buren will have to get himself up short of the 5, down at the 4, where Bradley Shaw will get credited.
Moving the pocket a little bit, don't want to risk any pressure. Try to give him an opportunity, gave himself up, and fans in attendance are saying, hey, what a roughing. Felt like Van Buren had given himself up. It's kind of a bang-bang. Regardless, after on the heels of a big defensive stop, Razorbacks trying to capture this field position and avoid giving up a first down coming out.
On 3rd and 7, he'll take off again. He'll get the first down.
Taylor, that's the hard part with these mobile quarterbacks is you've got to be disciplined in your rush. Xavier Sori, he worked inside, but that means Justice Boone, he has to get all the way out. It's a pass rush stunt. So if your edge rusher works inside, one of those interior guys has to get outside to contain. Boone got hung up in the wash. That was more than enough for Van Buren to escape out onto the edge.
Fresh set of downs. Van Buren tried to set up the bubble, instead dirts it at Quincy Rhodes' feet.
Well, they had what they wanted. They were going to screen.
Really on the field is an incomplete pass with number 14 in the area. 2nd down.
They were going to screen right into the side that Arkansas was bringing some slot pressure. It was just too much too soon. So Van Buren turns around. He's got Rhodes right in front of him. It's tricky. Offensive lineman, you want to get out there and block. You want to release the D lineman upfield so there's a lane for that screen to happen, but they can't be on top of the quarterback so quickly that he can't get the pass off.
Van Buren pressured, uses his legs again, and gets to the sideline. Caleb wouldn't push him out of bounds. Or escorting him, I guess I should say. Third down again for LSU. After a big conversion the last time, they're now 4 for 10 on 3rd down.
And that time, that was a good job coverage downfield. Really, Van Buren was just trying to buy time, nowhere to go with that football. Still able to escape outside to buy a little bit of extension for that pass.
He steps up and throws. It's deflected by a Razorback. 4th down. J.J. Shelton got his hands on it. Or was it Larry Worth who just checked into the game? Let's take another look here.
Yeah, Shelton, you got it right. He got his hands up. Got that right hand on it to deflect the ball up. Always hold your breath as an offense whenever the ball's deflected in the middle of the field. A lot of defenders back there. The Arkansas defense doing their job now, allowing just the 1 first down. They'll have decent field position.
Chadwick, beautiful punt, sends Shank back near his 35-yard line. He gets the edge. Here goes Shanks. Cam is out of bounds in LSU territory. 49-yard punt, 25-yard return. And Arkansas once again will have great field position to start on this drive.
What do you think? You know, there's kind of this mirrored half. So both offenses with explosive plays, both defenses with big stops, and now special teams again for Arkansas. Remember they had that blocked punt for a touchdown in the first half. And now the punt return team setting up the offense in plus territory to start their second possession here in the second half.
Washington gets a few yards. Matt, getting down here hasn't been the problem. Finishing the drives has been the issue,
which has somewhat been surprising, coming into the game, because you wouldn't expect that. It's an LSU defense. We mentioned Whit Weeks out. West Weeks out there holding it down for his brother at linebacker. Oftentimes we see both of those brothers in the game. Don't see that very often. Same position, same team, same time. We got to slow down Arkansas. They're keeping it on the ground. That was their 8th straight run.
Wants to throw here and has to throw it into the bench. Facing pressure that time by Dylan Carpenter.
Great job twisting these pass rush stunts, and Carpenter. What makes it so difficult is you get these outside guys, they rush up and in. They're probably discussing whether or not, grounding by Green. Their guys are going to say he's not outside the tackle box.
Intentional grounding, offense number 10. The ball be placed at spot of the foul with a loss of down. Third down.
Second sack of the season for Carpenter. And Coach Petrino has been frustrated most of the day with this group.
Well, the protection just didn't pick up that looper. Carpenter was coming outside in. The hard part with that is, especially when you got a runner at quarterback, it forces them to the outside. Green's usually able to pick up enough time, but repeatedly the LSU defenders having enough to fast enough to close ground where he couldn't do that.
Green dumps it off underneath, and Sharp should make this a field goal try for Arkansas. And freshman Scott Starzik from Texas made a 53-yarder early in the season against Alabama A&M. Certainly the offense could stay on the field, and that's what's happening, at least so far.
Yeah, they didn't really even look to the sideline. It was like anticipation, it looked like, after that third down call.
On 4th and 6, Green, it's a first down, and the flags are on the field as Sharp gets inside the 20.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 11. The penalty's half the distance to the goal added to the end of the run. It includes an automatic first down.
Well, it was a heck of a play by Taylon Green, because there was pressure right now in his lap. But P.J. Woodland ends up getting called for a face mask. I think he was in coverage over Cam Shanks, and I think it's right down here. And Shanks ends up on the ground at the end of it. The back judge threw the flag in there.
First and goal for Arkansas inside the 10. Washington, touchdown!
They want to get the ground game going. And that first drive, they were able to move it all the way down to the goal line, couldn't punch it in. And Washington, that's a patient run. Set it up, found the hole, slow to, fast through. You see Arkansas setting up to go for 2 here.
Time to go for dose. Arkansas 2 for 2 on the season in 2-point attempts. Brought to you by Dos Equis. Taylon Green facing pressure. Here he goes out the backside. Can he make it? Yes! Wow! How about the acrobatic move by the quarterback there?
Well, we've said it repeatedly. LSU's got speed on defense. Taylon Green's been caught, but not this time. Razorback able to find his way into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Razorbacks lead.
Wow, how about that? Down 27 at the half, now lead by 1. Meanwhile here, again, let's take a look at the Go for Dose, brought to you by Dos Equis. The 2-point attempt by Taylon Green. What an athlete.
The pressure was there right now. We mentioned West Weeks. He was on top of him quickly. Another one of those speedy LSU linebackers, just not enough. Taylon Green able to improvise once again. We talked about it. He is a devastating scrambler.
He's now just the 7th Razorback ever to have over 7,000 career all-purpose yards, 149 passing and 73 rushing today for Taylon Green. SEC volleyball presented by Sprouts Farmers Market, Oklahoma at Tennessee. Vanderbilt at Mississippi State. That's tomorrow on SEC Network. Van Buren will hand it to Harlem Berry, and Berry will go the wrong direction and lose a yard in the backfield. Xavier Sorey with another tackle for loss.
What do you think about Arkansas defensively? Defensive coordinator Chris Wilson saying, look, we've given ourselves some chances. It's just we can't concede the big explosive plays. You think about the way this half started. LSU hits that big one down the sideline to Xavier Thomas, but Arkansas found a way to get that stop, able to do so again off the goal line stand.
Now on 2nd and 11, Van Buren moving the pocket. Good ball. First down, Xavier Thomas.
Van Buren does look comfortable throwing on the run.
Number 75, 10-yard penalty, repeat
But
second down.
it won't matter. A holding penalty. Big Weston Davis, right tackle. A lot of times that happens especially quarterback's rolling. He's trying to escape. And as soon as you get that little tug on the jersey, hands get outside, you have to allow that defender to escape. But it's hard sometimes, especially at tackle, because it's hard to have a feel for where your quarterback is and when that defensive end is going to try to disengage. Good call by the official. Costly penalty to start this drive.
Now 2nd and 21. It's a line of scrimmage ball that goes to Thomas. And he gets past the 20 up to the 21. Stephen Dix on the tackle, but instead of a first down for LSU, it's now 3rd and long for the Tigers, and Thomas is injured.
Yeah, there was a couple of extra cars into that pileup at the end of the play. Weston Davis was finishing his block, ended up going over the pile and might have injured his teammate at the end of it. Watch at the end of this. You see Weston Davis, he's working to finish, and that's what it was. Ends up landing on the back of Thomas's leg.
Caden Durham joining Van Buren in the backfield, and now swing it across the middle to Destin Hill. And Hill makes this more manageable. Well, no, it's 4th down now, so he's short of the first down.
Yeah, and easily could have been another penalty out on the edge. That time against Barry and Brown, no flag came out, regardless.
Number
short.
10 for LSU's reporting is 84.
Short of the line to gain there.
And so another punt for Grant Chadwick, 4 of them on the day for a 38-yard average. He had one blocked to start the game. And a fair catch called at the 35 by Shanks. Arkansas has a 6-point lead, and they have the football near the end of the 3rd quarter.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
SEC football presented by Allstate is brought to you by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet.
Tigers trying to hold on to the boot. They've won it 45 times. Arkansas has won it 23 times. There have been 2 ties. You see the Razorbacks up 6 with the ball here near the end of the third. And there's Washington breaking tackles and gets a first down.
Arkansas has been pretty patient with the ground game today. Haven't always been easy. Get downhill, but you can see it trying to get to the edges. Early on, we're getting some of the perimeter players involved, but Washington able that time to capture the left side and get downhill quickly for first down yardage.
Has 900 yards, exactly 900 on the year now. Green, that was a muddy exchange and a loss on the play. Jacoby and Guillory, who forced the turnover on downs a while back on the tackle.
Well, something that they noted, did the Arkansas coaches, these defensive linemen for LSU, they jet upfield. These aren't guys that are sitting there taking on blocks and trying to anchor. They're trying to get upfield and jet a gap, occupy that gap, and be disruptive in your backfield.
Green is under pressure, he's down. Pocket collapse, so did he. Bernard Gooden. C.J. Jackson got home.
Another great get off by Bernard Gooden. Nice hands right at the line of scrimmage. Still didn't quite get Taylor Green down. That's the difficulty with the big quarterback for Arkansas. You can get there, you got to get him on the ground, but the rush ultimately able to collapse in around Green. But it was Gooden that got there first. Forced him up into that pocket.
End of the third quarter.
That's the end of the third quarter. Timeout.
Razorbacks want the boot back to Fayetteville, up 6 going to the fourth.
Coach, what did you just tell your team in that huddle just now?
That's our rally call, fourth quarter, to go finish this game the right way, the way that Tigers play.
What has to happen for your offense to generate some momentum in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we got to not get penalized. When we're able to convert, we got to be able to capitalize on that so we can sustain the drive.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Means so much to a Louisiana man, Frank Wilson, to coach in this stadium. His Tigers trail by 6 against the Razorbacks to start the fourth. And Talon Green and the Hogs out there now, handing this off to Sharp. And Raylan runs up past the 45. On the first play of the fourth quarter.
Interesting defensive alignment from LSU. See if you can't pop a run right there, regardless you're playing field position now. The way your defense is played here in the second half, if you're Arkansas, you like the way it started. You're able to withstand that explosive play. Otherwise, forced 3 punts from the LSU offense so far.
And here is Bale, the senior from La Jolla, California, down San Diego way. Fair catch at the 8 by Thomas. There are flags down. See that official has his hat off, so
There is no foul in the play for the kicking team for coming back inbounds. The result is first down.
let's take a look at the Taco Bell Liv Moss student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Liv Moss Student Section of the Year. Who will take home the trophy this year? And we have some great finishes in the SEC going on right now. 2 one-score games. A&M up 1 on the Gamecocks, just over 2 minutes to go. Razorbacks up 6 here on LSU. 2 teams with losing records, winning on the road.
It's pretty incredible what's
Throughout
happening.
most of the day in the SEC. Gamecocks are down 1 right now. Van Buren hands it to Barry, and the freshman gets out near the 15 to give LSU some breathing room. Wooden on the tackle. It's a 6-yard carry.
And LSU offensively, we just mentioned the punts. Got to find a way to get going. You got to get that. And try to recapture, at the very least, some field position. Get a first down. They're able to do it in their coming out offense after the goal line stand, but they couldn't pick up that second. So that punt ended up conceding excellent field position. Arkansas was able to capitalize on the short field.
On 2nd and 4, Jawan Johnson, and at quarterback, Jawan's got a first down. Incredible high school quarterback from Lafayette, Louisiana, converted to safety, now is a running back, but still plays some quarterback.
Yeah, a little trickery. So you fake the reverse, but this is after Van Buren. It looked like he walked to the line like he's trying to communicate. And he is the one that ended up giving the clap for the snap. And of course, you fake that reverse just to get a little bit of eyeballs. There's your first down and your coming out offense to get a little bit more of that field position back.
Fresh set of downs, and this is a backwards lateral to Thomas. He throws, and did Green catch it? No. Nussmeier wanted it over there on the sideline, but Green couldn't make the grab, and now he's down over there.
Hit it pretty hard. Ball came out just a hair late. Out in front, Trey'Dez Green, which is a hard thing to throw outside of his grasp. He's 6'7", if he's an inch. A full 6'8". Regardless, back-to-back plays by the LSU offense, trying to keep Arkansas off balance.
Back to the ground go the Tigers. Van Buren handing to Durham, tackled by Dix.
Even more eye candy on that one. A lot of ball handling after the snap. Ends up being just that downhill run. Now Arkansas, another opportunity to rush the passer. Although we've seen in this game, they've run some of those pass rush stunts. You've got an end working inside, that edge rusher. And the interior rushers weren't able to get to their contained rush lanes. And Van Buren, when he had to tuck it, was able to.
Now 3rd and 10. Van Buren throws. It is caught. First down. Good grab by Brown.
6-man protection, just a 4-man rush. Plenty of time. Really clean pocket. Well thrown football, and Jordan Young, nickelback, got caught with his eyes in the backfield somehow.
21 yards there. Now Durham gets the edge. Caden gets near midfield.
About that now. So you pull out a couple of gimmicky plays to jumpstart this offensive possession. Now, after a big 3rd down conversion, find yourself near midfield. LSU offense clicking really for the first time since that opening possession in the 3rd quarter.
Durham's out. Juwan Johnson is next to Van Buren. Gets the ball, keeps the ball, throws the ball, first down. There's Green. Into Razorbacks territory, down to the 37-yard line.
What else are we going to do? Tackle eligible, maybe? We got a bluff cadence, fake reverses, double passes. About 2. That time was a handoff, fake reverse.
What section of the playbook is Alex Atkins working in right now?
Yeah, this is the fun part, right? In the practice where you're like, when are we ever going to run some of these? Well, let's run all of them, all in the same series.
Here's the toss. Here we go. And Van Buren can throw. And it's caught. That's Kyle Parker.
Wow. Toss, lateral, pass, of course. And you know, that's the part of the field where you run this play, traditionally. You're just emptying it.
How many people will touch the football in this play? Maybe just 2. Parker. And a flag comes flying in from the back judge.
On the fans. I think the fans are disappointed, not just because it's likely. Oh, wow. Initially, the official.
Holding. Offense number 14. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
I mean, everyone in Tiger Stadium was having a blast with this drive, and who knows what will happen now. Because this is, we've seen a little bit of everything. Maybe a fumble Ruski here on a 1st and 10 plus.
I was going to ask, what's the play in Little Giants, the annex of Puerto Rico? What is it? Is that it?
Something like that. Yeah, they're reaching down into the territories now. Covered them all.
Van Buren throws, back shoulder incomplete. Thomas the intended target. There's the flag.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 13. The 15-yard penalty includes an automatic first down.
A second face mask call we've seen in this game on a DB in coverage. It's hard to catch the ball. Just reaches out. It's a handful of cage on the underthrown ball, back shoulder. And easy call for the official. Play calling's gotten really boring all of a sudden, Taylor. Bunch of traditional passes now.
Just hold on, buddy. There's more. Here's Van Buren, design quarterback run. Dix on the tackle.
Nice play on the backside that time. Arkansas defense, we talked about it. They've been forcing 3 punts. Able to withstand the explosive plays. Not on this one, though. Xavier Thomas, not only as a receiver, as a intended passer. All the specialists getting in on the action on this drive.
Our stats man, Kevin Maloney, says this is LSU's first red zone trip of the game. What a wild one it's been. Van Buren, plenty of time, swings it out to the safety valve. High throw, Durham breaking a tackle, and Walker pushing him out.
Nice job. That's not an easy thing. It looks kind of like a guard variety, just check down. Durham has to make that catch and withstand a would-be tackle almost immediately by Xavier Sori. Right on top of him, he's able to pick up probably another 4 or 5 yards to make this third down more manageable.
12th play of the drive. It's taken over 6 minutes off the clock. Really almost 7. You think of it, Arkansas ran 1 play to start this quarter, then punted it away. It's been all LSU since. Van Buren drifting, escaping, throwing, touchdown! Bowers Sharp.
He's able to escape again. So if you're going to rush inside, you better get home. Arkansas, once again, just not disciplined in their pass rush lanes. So you're begging a mobile quarterback to escape the pocket, buy time, and able to find Bowers Sharp. Able to make amends. A little difficulty in punt protection early in the game, and able to come up with a big touchdown reception to put LSU possibly back on top, and does.
12 plays, 92 yards. Garrett Nussmeier injured today, unable to play, and Michael Van Buren finds the 5th-year senior Bowers Sharp to give the Tigers the lead in the 4th. Wow. That one goes out of bounds, and Razorbacks will have good field position. It was 30-3.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball will be placed at 35-yard line. Timeout.
And then A&M comes back to win. So settle in for the last 7:53 of this one with us.
SEC football is presented by Allstate. You're in good hands.
Settle in with us here in Tiger Stadium for the final few minutes of this one and what has been a good game throughout. My big man Matt Stinchcomb, I'm Taylor Zarzer, Alyssa Lang down there on the field, the battle of the Golden Boot. It's always a good one between these two teams. It seems to go down to the wire.
It really does, and especially the kind of season that Arkansas has had this year. They insist on playing close games. Of course, they want to come out with a different result. LSU's done an excellent job of fighting their way back into this ball game. Finished that first half really, really well. It's going to be a fun final 8 minutes based on what we've seen so far.
Jalen Green throwing downfield. Good ball into LSU territory. It's a first down to C.J. Brown. Let's toss it to Alyssa.
Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, when I'm down here throughout the course of the day, as I've been down here, Whit Weeks has been so involved when it comes to helping Blake Baker not only coach up this defense, but of course keeping them motivated. He's talked about how much better this defense plays with Whit on the field. He truly cannot get any closer over Blake Baker's shoulders at all times when this defense is on the sidelines.
On this play, look at Washington bounce it out. It was going to be a tackle for loss. Instead, it's a first down run for 13 yards.
Almost on cue because West Weeks had him dead to rights. Good job reading it through the traffic. Even better job of running through the would-be tackle. Washington showing some tackle breaking ability in this game that we haven't seen a ton of this year.
Needed one more Weeks out there. They miss Whit.
There's another Weeks on the team too. Zach Weeks, their younger brother. I don't know if there's any other team in the country with 3 brothers at the same position.
First and 10 Arkansas, and it's Green. Talon takes off inside the 30. Green leads all of college football in total yards per game at 335, despite the 2-7 record. This is one of the best offenses in college football, and it has been all year.
Well, this Arkansas offense, part of what's made it such a great game today is their patience with that run game. 7.4 yards a carry here in the second half. They have stuck with it, and it has worked well for them.
5 losses by 6 points or less. They trail by 1. Green still with the football. As Dominic McKinley and Harold Perkins both in there.
And it was Harold Perkins that forced the issue. So Blake Baker said, all right, we got to slow this down a little bit. Let's disrupt the backfield. Great job once again. Harold Perkins, he had the pick in the first half, repeatedly in the backfield. And that time he muddied up that read, had to accelerate the clock for Taylor Green to make the decision.
Just need 3 points to take the lead. But is it 4-down territory? Arkansas is just 2 of 10 on 3rd down. Green has time. Good ball on the sideline. And Raylan Sharp didn't catch it.
Had a chance to come up with this ball. And Taylor Green, good placement, and he just doesn't finish it. Great job by Mansour Delane. Came up with the interception at the end of the second quarter, and that time fighting through the final of that catch.
The ruling of an incomplete pass on the previous play is under video review. Timeout.
We're going to see, did that ball come out after he would have been down and out of bounds?
I was going to ask you that before they actually whistled it. Did Sharp have it and have clear possession of it before Mansour Delane comes in and rips it out? They'll take a look at it, we'll take a break, and we'll get the ruling and come right back.
Complete pass was upheld after video review, so the field goal unit is on the field.
Scott Starzik from 48 yards to give the Razorbacks the lead. The freshman has been outstanding this year. Wide right.
LSU defense, they got a goal line stand, and now a forced missed field goal here in the second half. Another missed scoring opportunity for Arkansas. Just drifts it to the right of that upright. These old school H-style uprights. The cool elements of the stadium here at Death Valley. The defense able to force another empty possession for Arkansas. Arkansas, you're thinking, you know what? The defense, it took everything. They emptied the clip offensively on that touchdown drive. You know, maybe we could play defense again if we miss here. That's certainly what ended up happening. Time yet on the clock to fight back. LSU offensively just wants to stage another drive on this one.
First pre-snap.
Snap, false start. Offense number 10. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down. Please reset the game clock to 5 minutes, 8 seconds. 5:08. Thank you.
Arkansas has lost 5 games by 6 points or less. A 1-point loss to Memphis, the 3-point loss against the Aggies and against State. And here they are down 1 to LSU. Starzik had made 9 consecutive field goals before that miss. And on 1st and 15, Van Buren, a shovel pass, and he had trouble collecting it and ends up losing yardage.
It was an interesting backfield action. Really started out headed hard to the right and had to retrace to go back to the left. The timing ended up being just a little bit weird. See, once again, trying to pitch it forward to Jawan Johnson. And as we mentioned, the previous offensive possession for LSU, they did it all. I mean, 3 different guys attempted passes on that drive. And that time would have been, if the ball goes down, an incomplete pass, regardless, a negative yardage play to open up this possession here.
Well, you said it. Alex Atkins called all sorts of. Wow, he can't get a play off here.
Prior to the delay of game, timeout was called by LSU. It's their first of the half. It's 30 seconds in length.
And Frank Wilson, Alex Atkins, the offense coordinator, and the rest of the team will talk to Michael Van Buren. Starting today, due to Garrett Nussmeier's injury. Just a reminder, the SEC Network Fall Football weekday lineup continues. Monday reaction to Friday previews we haven't covered throughout the season. And of course, it's streaming on the all-new ESPN app. Garrett Nussmeier, 5th-year senior from Lake Charles, Louisiana, has had such a decorated career. He's been bothered by injuries this season. Aggravated an abdominal injury earlier in the week. Nussmeier was benched at the end of the Alabama game for Michael Van Buren. And early in the week, Coach Wilson said both would play, but then Nussmeier banged up Thursday in practice. Really looks like he's been going through something all season and unable to go today. So it's been the Van Buren show.
It really has, you know, throughout this season. That's been a story. It's certainly kind of a through line for the season. Is Garrett Nussmeier healthy? It doesn't look as if he is. Of course, this week, with that re-aggravated injury, just couldn't make a go of it. Van Buren certainly working to take advantage of this opportunity. Like you said, Coach Atkins throwing the playbook at the Arkansas defense here in the 4th quarter.
On 2nd and 16, Van Buren pumps, gets out of there. He's got plenty of room. It's a first down into Arkansas territory. He's thrown for 221, and now he has run for 36. 35 of them right there.
He wanted to go left. He wanted to get it out quickly. It was defended well on the perimeter, and everyone's back is turned. Van Buren did a great job. Hey, once you can escape, the defenders are running with the eligible receivers downfield. Their back is to that runner. That's the element that LSU was seeking to introduce at the end of the Alabama game. It's proven to be pivotal multiple times in this game.
And now back to the ground with Durham. And Caden inside the 37-yard line. Arkansas has all 3 of its timeouts. They're not going to use any yet. Durham double-digit carries today. Harlem Berry has 7 carries in the game, as these two have been splitting reps in the 10th game of the season.
They've kind of hot-handed their way through this game. Both of them contributing multiple ways. Big second down here. Arkansas trying to put LSU in position to get the ball back.
And Durham will be just short of the first down, up to the 33-yard line. It'll set up a big 3rd down, just shy of the 2-minute timeout.
We saw this right before the end of half, about the same spot of the field. Ramos, who's been excellent in this game, a big part of the scoring for LSU.
As you see the difference in the game clock and the play clock, LSU does have to snap this before the 2-minute timeout. In the pistol set, that's Berry behind Van Buren. Harlem, that's a first down.
What a cut by Berry. Excellent vision by the freshman.
This is the 2-minute timeout for the 4th quarter.
LSU's clinging to a 1-point lead, and they're 1 first down away from victory.
Bigger than ever, we back.
I get chills when we call one of these games.
Legends are made in that building right there. We on a whole nother level. Bigger than ever, we back. SEC champions.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Game on the line here, 2 minutes to go. Arkansas has 3 timeouts left. Barry carries it, and Arkansas will use their first. As he gets down to the 28, Frank Wilson trying to win his first game.
Arkansas has called their first time out of the half. It's 30 seconds in length. Please reset the game clock to 1:57, 1 minute 57 seconds.
And just a reminder, when we're done, it's number 23 Tennessee and New Mexico State. That's at 4:15 in 15 minutes, and then it's Mississippi State and Missouri tonight at 7:45. You can also watch anywhere on the all-new ESPN app. LSU with a first down essentially puts the game away. Arkansas needs to stop to get the ball back. Eventually, if you're a Razorbacks fan, you got to think you're going to win one of these. It's a week-by-week thing where the Razorbacks are in these situations.
You're thinking here, how can I get behind the line of scrimmage? Can I get a negative yardage play? We've seen, you think back to the opening possession, Arkansas with a bad exchange. You're thinking defensively, what's a way to knock them back a little bit more? Certainly don't want to concede a first down, as you mentioned, Taylor. But can you get a negative yardage play defensively?
On 2nd and 8, Barry fighting, gets down to the 24, closer to the 23, and the Razorbacks will use another timeout.
Arkansas has called their second charge timeout of the half. It's 30 seconds in length. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute 52 seconds. 1:52.
Matthew, we can't get out of here before we salute Phil's from last night. Unbelievable meal. Look at those oysters that Alyssa Lang ordered for the entire table, all of which were consumed.
Wow.
If there's one thing I'm good at, it's ordering food.
That's the crawfish cheesecake right there. And I have to say, I'm from Mobile, Alabama. That might be the best crawfish etouffee I've ever had.
That's strong talk. That's big talk from a Mobilian. How about Alyssa? So y'all handed her she had the aux, huh? She can handle all the ordering.
She did a terrific job. I was very proud.
Hey.
Boudin bites.
Oh, what a call.
Amazing. All right, 3rd and 3 here, Matt. Do you run the ball again if you're Frank Wilson's team, or would you let Van Buren throw it?
I think we see the ball on the ground again here. We've seen a couple of nice runs by LSU, but I think they keep it on the ground here one more time.
It is Harlem Berry lined up next to Michael Van Buren in shotgun. Have to get to the 20. And it is Berry. And it is a first down. And he's going to go down wisely. That basically puts the game away. Smart move by the freshman there to ice the victory for LSU.
Great game awareness by the freshman. Like you mentioned, Taylor, you think, you know what? You get a nose for the end zone. You can get excited. Said, no, I'm going to be smart here. I'm going to end this game. Slides down, picks up that first. You can see the congratulations. LSU offense, maligned offensive front. They're getting fired up, as are the fans.
All week, people have been talking about meaning, the meaning of this game. Let me tell you about the meaning for Frank Wilson of New Orleans, Louisiana, who went to Perry High School, who was a Nicholls State grad, who coached in this state.
Arkansas has called their third and final timeout. It's a full timeout.
He coached at McNeese State. He was an assistant coach for LSU for 6 years, went away to be a head coach and comes back and becomes the interim head coach. And in his first game as the head coach in Tiger Stadium, his team's going to get a victory. And not only will LSU play again here against Western Kentucky next week and then play at Oklahoma in 2 weeks, Frank Wilson will get to coach an additional game because of today's game. LSU's bowl eligible.
You could hear how emotional it was for Coach. I mean, just in the meeting alone, you could tell just the importance of this opportunity, the magnitude of this opportunity. You see the remaining schedule there. Of course, Wilson told us, you know, Brian Kelly got the job down here, and he's at McNeese. It's like, look, this is a monster job. You got to understand that, Coach. Of course, Coach Wilson had a full appreciation for the magnitude of what that role really is to be the head coach at LSU.
He mentioned it near the beginning of the broadcast. His mentor, a real father figure in his life, Shane Williams, the former principal at Perry High School, who really helped Coach Wilson become a man, passed away in the last week. And Coach Wilson went back to New Orleans to help eulogize him. And Mr. Williams said, on behalf of everyone that loves Frank Wilson, we made it when Frank became the interim head coach. And Frank now has a win here in Tiger Stadium. And a Gatorade bath too.
Well, fitting in, that was a powerful story that he was able, and you could see the emotions for Coach Wilson. A hard-fought game in this one. Boy, we saw a little bit of everything. Special teams, defenses that showed up, some big plays, some missed opportunities. Ultimately, LSU able to capitalize with the win. They get to tote off that boot trophy. The thing is a monster, and it stays with the LSU Tigers.
The boot stays in Baton Rouge for the 46th time. LSU plays Western Kentucky next Saturday night here on SEC Network. Arkansas is at Texas. Let's go down to Alyssa.
Coach, your team showed no quit. What did it take for them to win that Golden Boot today?
A never say die spirit. You know, you look at the back end of the second quarter, you look at the fourth quarter, they did the things necessary to earn victory. I could not be more proud of our football team and their achievement on today.
What did you make of Michael's performance walking in to be the starter today and coming out with a win?
I thought he did extremely well. I thought he was courageous. Started off a little slow, but he got it going, and he found a way to will this team to a win.
Finally, Coach, what does this one mean to you as the interim head coach walking into Death Valley and walking out today with your first win?
Everything.
Thank you, Coach.
Here we go.
Today's Sport Clip MVP is Michael Van Buren, 221 yards passing and a touchdown, and he's with Alyssa.
Michael, when you were told that you were starting today, what was the preparation like to come in and get a win for this team?
I mean, every week I prepare like a starter, so I feel like it was just another week for me.
How did your teammates help you in this one?
My teammates fought hard. You know, when adversity hit, they found ways to come out with the win. So I'm proud of my team for that, and I'm happy for a victory.
What did you see in the fight from your team? It's never easy in a rivalry game, but the boot staying in Louisiana, how'd y'all do it?
Just by being together, by just playing as a family, playing as a brotherhood. We talk all the time about playing as one and how this is a real family in Baton Rouge, and today we showed it.
Congrats on your first win as a Tiger starter.
Thank you.
Impressive, especially in the second half, Stinch.
No question. Had to fight his way into this one. It wasn't a fast start, as Coach Wilson mentioned, but was able to complete some big throws, was able to extend some plays as well. That was to open the second half. The big one is Xavion Thomas. And then they kind of emptied the playbook to get that touchdown, the go-ahead score in the second half. Just stuck with it, was able to buy time, made some big plays with his legs.
That'll wrap it up for this edition of SEC College Football in Death Valley, presented by Allstate. Our final score, LSU 23, Arkansas 22. For my partner, Matt Stinchcomb, and Alyssa Lang on the field, I'm Taylor Zarzer. Enjoy the rest of this college football Saturday. Tennessee and New Mexico State coming up in a minute, but first we send it back to the studio.